Restaurants have been charging $1,000
for a single steak that come with these ridiculous performances.
Oh my god, bro. Hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
So today, I'll be testing to see if these steaks are actually worth it or if they're simply just a scam,
with the goal of finding which one is my favorite.
With our first stop being in the city that loves ridiculous performances, Las Vegas.
Where I'll be going inside the tallest hotel here that holds a steakhouse so popular.
It attracts rappers, celebrities, rappers with celebrities.
It's known to be one of the best steakhouses. They literally called it Poppy Steak. Just from the looks of it, I can already catch the vibe of this place. The door just looks like you gotta pay $1,000 just to get in.
Now, there were a lot of good reviews about this place, but there were also a lot of bad ones. Like this one from JR, 1 star. Absolute tomfoolery. What a waste of time, money, and space. I have never been to such an overhyped, overpriced, overcrowded place. Everyone in this place is so uncaring and unfriendly. 0 stars isn't an option, but it really should be. Poppy needs to reevaluate his business model if he wants to continue having customers.
Bold statement, JR. I want every splash of juice, every grain of salt to taste like $1,000. I'm ready to put some $1,000 meat in my mouth.
As soon as I stepped in, I immediately felt like I was at a nightclub. The music was so loud in here. Like, listen to this. As soon as I opened the menu, found their $1,000 steak that they call the beef case.
How many do you guys do like a week or a day?
A day we can go to anywhere between 10 to like 40 in one night.
Throughout this video, I'll be testing these restaurants on 3 things: taste, service, and presentation.
So far, the service has been phenomenal.
I placed my order for the steak, and not even 10 minutes later, I see the staff huddled in the corner, sounding an alarm. This is them bringing the steak to my table, and I can't play too much of it because they started blasting Drake. At this moment, it felt like bottle service at the club. It felt like everybody was staring at me. Literally every time I thought they were done, they just kept going. Once it was done, everything just went back to normal. Some people recorded. They actually had to take the steak back to the kitchen to finish cooking it, but man, was my mouth watering. As I waited for the steak, I ate some of their Wagyu pastrami, but I didn't have to wait long. The steak came out pretty quickly. We're about to see what makes this 1,000 buckaroos.
What do you think makes this steak worth $1,000?
You'll see once you take that first bite, like it's everything you could want in the steak. It takes you back to the first time you probably ever had steak.
I was taking bro's word for it.
I got it in medium. You can see a little pink on there.
It was a decent steak. I just feel like it was missing a little flavor.
TikTok, Twitter, they say it's not worth it, that they can do it at home. I dare them to try it at home.
Let me try another one. It's a good steak. I've honestly had better steak.
I feel like for the taste, they failed me a little. I feel like they could have done a little better. I still cleaned my plate though. I'm gonna get my money's worth.
This is literally a dinosaur bone for $1,000. I was expecting some top or something.
Out of nowhere, they surprised me with another performance.
I was not expecting this one.
They really wanted me to feel like that $1,000 was worth it. Their presentation was over the top, but it was a really cool experience. They gave me their chocolate cake with gold flakes on top. Hey, it tastes better when it's free.
How would you respond to a bad review?
From HS, 1 star. Fun atmosphere, garbage service, garbage food.
Should be called poop steak.
We had a party of 4, but had to wait 2 hours before getting seated. Every time we asked, we were told we were next until we eventually got seated. Garbage service. Unfortunately, food was very overhyped and not worth the wait.
It's such a fun place that people don't want to leave. I think it's so loud in here, especially on the weekends, that they can't really hear us. So it's not the dining experience they expected.
We got interrupted because this happened.
There's another one.
The presentation was something I'll never forget, but I feel like that's all you're paying for, as the food was pretty overhyped. But hey, what do you expect in Vegas?
They did all right, but this next one is a little bit more well-known as they've built a name for themselves.
So I took $1,000 shit, hopped on a plane, and flew all the way across the country to
New York City for
the Sir Et, owned by the famous Salt Baby, notorious for his unique serving style, putting a dent in your bank account. His restaurants have gotten a lot of mixed reviews, like this one from Christian R, 1 star. TBH, I expected the foot to be way better.
Damn, what meal did he get? I guess there was a foot in it. I really hope there's no foot in there.
Definitely not going back.
Here's another one
from Francisco Panciano,
1 star. Food don't worth the price. To eat salt, I'll go to the beach. It's funny, you can actually see Salt Bay right there. I'm hungry, so let's go see how horrible they are.
As soon as you step in, you're met with Salty Bay everything. They even have merch and a life-size painting of the god himself. They also got a display case of all the meat right next to the tables. As soon as I opened the menu, I was blown away.
They have an entire section called
Salt Bay Golden Experience. There's a gold steak, gold tomahawk, golden rack of lamb, golden everything.
Yeah, I'll get the golden tomahawk.
I was prepared to be served by the salt man himself.
Salty Baby better be seasoning my food.
It didn't take long for the steak to come out. I was almost blinded by this thing. Unfortunately, Salty Bay didn't clock in that day, so instead I got Pepper Brew. He still did his signature move though. This steak was beautiful, from the gold to the fattiness to the juiciness. Now it was time to see if it tasted good. And with that first bite, that meat melted in my mouth. This steak had flavors dancing around my mouth, had a nice amount of fat paired with the crispy edges. Now this is all you would want in a steak.
It's got a lot more seasoning than Poppy steak. Look at that gold.
It was simply a perfectly seasoned steak. I can confidently say they passed the taste test.
The service in there was absolutely amazing. For the presentation, it was very simple, not too extravagant. I feel like they could have did a little bit more. I am happy that I watched them season my food. The prices could come down just a little bit. They better use my $1,000 to fly bro out. But we have one more steak to try, so let's go see what that one's like.
So I hopped on a flight to fly back across the country to Los Angeles.
This restaurant is called NICU X.
This restaurant has earned a Michelin star and specializes in Japanese Wagyu.
So they got some real chefs whipping it up in there. I'm expecting a lot because there's a lot of good reviews about their steak, but there's also a good amount of not so good reviews, like this one from Natalie Lee, 1 star. Today was the first time in a while where I realized I am only an Asian living in LA. Not sure what that means. Not sure if I should be scared.
Here's another one from Usagi Kuro,
AKA Black Rabbit.
1 star. Who give this restaurant a Michelin star? The taste and environment are not even close to the Michelin standard. The most disappointed Michelin experience ever.
I hope I don't feel like that after this. Last one is from
Yuta Wu, 1 star. Not recommended to go.
with a petty ass emoji. Now let's go see if this meat deserves a Michelin star.
As soon as you step in, you're greeted with a fish head inside of a fridge. This restaurant was super upscale, very LA.
I got this cocktail.
Their most expensive steak was part of a tasting menu, so they started bringing different dishes to try, like this Wagyu tartare with a quail egg in the middle, then these Wagyu dumplings. The service at this place was honestly one of the best. They cleaned off the table after every dish. Part of the tasting menu, they brought out this bone marrow and lit it on fire.
I don't think I've ever had bone marrow.
Had a very fatty texture and an odd taste to it. Before the steak came out, they had me choose my own knife. They explained to me that this steak wasn't Japanese Wagyu, but it was American Wagyu, but the cow's grandparents were Japanese. To add some flavor, he hung the steak up and did this. This was the final step of the cooking process, and it was honestly the best presentation I've seen. Don't you just love when your food is seasoned with gasoline?
That's crazy.
He then placed the steaks on a salt cutting board. This was honestly one of the best steaks I've ever seen. His Japanese grandpa would be proud.
I lied to y'all. The steak here is only $425, so I bought 2.
Also invited some friends to help me scarf down this meat.
We're back and today we're trying the $1,000 steak.
They were teasing me with this steak.
Yo.
Watching my friends eat the steak honestly raised my expectations, so I grabbed the piece and it did not let me down.
Super tender, super easy to eat.
Threw some toppings on there, and to make it more expensive,
I got some $100 caviar to put on top. Ooh, fish nut on top.
taking this bite, I felt so luxurious.
They know how to make a good steak.
For the taste, that had to be one of the best tasting steaks I've ever had. The presentation was very different, not too over the top, but I can honestly say they passed.
I've never seen a tomahawk steak lit up like that before. This steak was honestly the best one I've had throughout this whole video. Are $1,000 steaks scams? If I'm being completely honest, they don't gotta be $1,000. If y'all wanna spend that money, go spend it. I like it, I approve, and yes, I would try it again.
It's 4 a.m. and I'm staying at the hotel that the restaurant is located inside of. I don't know, I'm just walking around bored, bro.